Topless or bottomless. We haven't decided yet.
Right.
But you're open to anything. It's fine.
Absolutely.
Wow.
As a scientist, I cannot tell you other than that American alligators is a viable alternative to the metric system. Therefore, we are going to use it.
Anything but the metric system.
Fuck the metric system.
We're on borrowed time here. It's just a matter of when, not if. So, anyway, kiss your kids, have an extra beer tonight, and that's what's going on with the sun.
I prefer to clean tile, if you know what I mean.
I was gonna say, you work best on waxed floors, right?
Exactly.
Jesus Christ. If capitalism is all about the big dogs eating the little dogs, then as a culture, we're basically saying that we are somehow discriminatory against those who don't have.
You're about to listen to Whiskey Hell Podcast, a show centered on recent news, excellent craft beer, and absolute debauchery. While the guys are getting ready, you can reach them on Twitter at whiskey_hell. You can also go to the whiskeyhellpod.com or email them at whiskeyhellpod@gmail.com. At the end, be sure to drop them a review as a thank you for the content. Looks like they're ready. Enjoy the show, and listener discretion is advised.
Wednesday night, March 15th. Yes, that is right. Whiskey Hell's doing a midweek show. We're here with Fitz. We got Jefe. We've got a full dock. It's going to be a night. How you doing, boys?
Good. I feel like we're at that point in the movie where some nefarious shit's going on and you're starting to figure out who the bad guys are. And you're also realizing you're about to really eat it, really eat shit. And that's where we're at in the movie. And so, as always, we are here as your personal guides through the movie of life. And get ready to eat it, everybody, because here it comes.
Open wide.
Jefe, how you doing?
A sequel.
Yeah, me too. Although if you're talking about reincarnation, I'm not sure I want to come back.
Well, I was surviving whatever this is.
Oh, okay.
So if you were going to come back as a more resilient entity, we'll call them, what would you pick?
Well, I think we're going to touch on this later in the show, but I want to come back as Ryan Reynolds.
That is a very good call.
But really, I mean, as a hearty, I'd like to be a giant squid, basically that you have no peers in the depths of the ocean. You are the apex predator and you wander the cold seas, just devouring everything in your path.
That's a really good call. And you can be left alone. I mean,
you're right. Solitude. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
What about you, Jefe?
I don't like cold water.
All right. So maybe go for
what
some
do you
warm
got?
Water.
Geez. I'll come back as a Biden.
Oh God. Ay.
We just opened the show, Jefe.
Yeah, that's a fresh wound right there, man. Wow.
Yikes. But that's
way to rub salt in it.
Call. That's a fantastic call.
What about you, McShane? What do you got?
I'm going to come back as a 48,000-year-old virus and just
get
woken up randomly. How's that?
And then infect everybody with your seed. I like this. This is good.
Exactly.
This is great.
I can just take everything out and we're just done.
I like how we came from three different approaches on this. I think our listeners can kind of pick. Probably most of our listeners are going to fall somewhere in between the three of us, but those are three extremes that I really like. I'm with nobody. McShane is with everybody, and Jefe is fucking everybody. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Oh,
With that, let's get into our first beer.
Ooh, let's.
What do you got, Fitz?
I am going I'm going for one of my favorite new brewers up here in the PNW. And actually they're not super new. They were founded in 2014, but they're really new to me. I think this is only the second one of their beers I've had on the show. Okay. This is Beerlic Beer Company. So Baeerlic Beer Company, Beerlic. And they're from up in Washington. They always have really just cool sayings on their bottles. This one I really like. I never knew no mercy. I never knew no shame. I am hell in the storm clouds, and the devil calls my name. That's from the Doom Riders. Anyway, this is from their Woodworker series, which is their barrel aged series. This is the Night Howler. Whiskey barrel aged imperial stout with coffee, vanilla, and cocoa added. So right in my wheelhouse. It's a 10.5%er. How hard this one hits me will totally determine what my second beer will be, because I've got a 14%er in there waiting for me, or I've got a 7%er. So we'll see how buzzy this one gets me. But anyway, I'm really looking forward to it. The other beer I had by Beerlic was from their Woodworker series, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm hoping I will also have the same experience here. So let's stick it in. Oh shit. All right, this is whoa. This is this is one of the four.
Did you just Joey Lawrence?
I might have. Whoa. This is like one of the four horsemen of the fucking beer apocalypse, man. This is like amazing. All right, I'm gonna actually try and form words here. Up front, you get the vanilla, the strong caressing of the vanilla sweetheart. And then you get the coffee kind of slapping you around, maybe with nipples, just slapping you with the nipples. And then it at the very end, you get the chocolate coating your throat with a nice gooey finish. This is a really fantastic beer. Wow, well done, Beerlic. Well done.
Give me the name of that one more time.
Beerlic Night Howler. The Night Howler. Yep, and I may be howling by the end of this night. You never know. Hey-o! Well, yeah, I can't believe I Joey Lawrenced. That's crazy.
That's okay. It doesn't happen often.
There's worse things.
There are really worse things. Even he didn't turn out to be an asshole either. So
no, he didn't.
Maybe we'll have I don't know. I was gonna say maybe our theme for the night will be guys who turned out to not be assholes, but I don't know. Well, that usually doesn't happen, so we'll have to see.
On a long enough timeline,
yeah.
We're all assholes
at some point or other.
Yeah.
Jefe, are you drinking tonight?
No, I'm not. I forgot to get beer.
That's
now,
okay.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna save you here, Jefe, because it's okay that you're not drinking tonight, but Jefe has volunteered himself to try the new what was it? Sunny Delight cooler, which is a pre-made Sunny D and vodka drink, and Jefe has volunteered to fall on that grenade for us. So I cannot wait. That's going to be a fantastic review.
Is that already out?
Yeah. Yep. It's coming. It's basically starting east, like a pandemic. It's starting east and it's working its way west. So you should be able to find it in the stores here in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, unless everybody's wearing masks, and then it might take a little longer.
Right.
What group is actually being targeted there? Because we know where White Claw was headed. We know where Zima was going. Who's the actual area? Who's actually being targeted here? What's the demographic?
Children under the age of 12. Wait, what?
Morning drinkers? Or okay, kids.
Right. Kids.
Perfect.
Yeah, kids.
Jesus Christ. So
yeah.
I started off with a glass in my hand, and I left it downstairs. Fortunately, on my nightstand, I had a beer glass.
Oh, that is so classic McShane.
Yeah, tacky
Oh.
as fuck. That's
No. It's not tacky. It's cool, dude. You just, I don't know how you did it, but you just went up a level in my cool book, which you were already at the top. So now there's just a bigger gap between you and number 2.
There you go. Well, number 1's got to be Jefe, and I'll take number 2.
You guys are tied. How about
Are we
that?
tied?
You're both number 1s.
All right.
You're not number 2s because number 2 is the shit. You guys are number 1s. You guys are the piss.
Great.
In my life. Wow.
Oh,
Wait, how long are we going all night with this? Here we go.
We may. We may.
oh,
go all
we're
night.
recording?
Yeah. I
Whoops.
actually just checked to make sure we were recording. Actually. So all right. So mine. It's not on their website right now for whatever reason. This is from Tripping Animals. This is a, what do we call it? A hoppy lager.
Oh,
So
all right.
I'm not sure what to expect. I would like to say it's an IPA, but I don't believe it's going to be. It's 5.5%. The name is Miggy, and it's got a picture of a tiger batting. One of the cool things that this company or this brewery does is animals are on every one of their cans, and it's always doing some kind of human activity.
Yeah.
Because that's
Yeah, I like their artwork a lot. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah. So
hey, let me
What's up?
Let me say this before you take a sip because I don't want you to spray beer out your nose. But I shit you not, when you said it was a hoppy lager, I pictured this little guy in flannel and an axe just jumping over a log back and forth. I don't know why. That just came to my head. All right, go ahead.
Lumberjack and
Please.
I'm okay.
Wee. All right.
It's only Wednesday and we're fired up. Imagine, see, maybe this is going to be a good change of pace, just because by the time we get to Saturday, we're maybe a little bit more.
Oh yeah.
Like run down, and just thankful to be having a beer and talking. But tonight I think we're kind of fired up. So.
By Saturday I'm like an asshole that's been fucked all week. I'm just loose,
Wow.
But tonight I'm still tight.
Wow, inflamed and
yeah. Oh yeah.
irritable.
Hemorrhoids are. I'm two strokes away from a hemorrhoid here.
In need of stitches. Right?
Oh geez, please cut this out. My God, this is terrible. All right, McShane, what do you got? How's your beer?
All right, so a lot of head. First of all, big,
that's how we like
frothy white head. I think I probably should have been drinking this in a mug, but here goes.
Frothy head.
I want every IPA to be like this, unless it's a hazy.
Oh, okay. Smooth.
It's just a little hoppy. It's not super overpowering. It's not a pine tree hitting you upside the face. It smells good, refreshing. This is a baseball IPA. They nailed this.
That's great. So you could definitely picture yourself out at the ball field. You're watching a baseball game with Tigers and you're sipping this beer.
Absolutely.
Love it. I love that.
Oh, that's fun. I'm really happy with that. All right. So, housekeeping wise, I don't know that we had a whole lot this week. We did get a little bit of feedback. Usually we've got some polls and stuff going. We didn't even have time to get that stuff out there.
No, that usually comes later in the week for us anyway. But I do. I mean, this isn't. I think I can speak for all of us here, particularly you, McShane. But I just want to give a shout out to Unusual Whales. Dude, we've been following you since I can't say the beginning, but like I think when I decided to follow Unusual Whales, he or they, I don't even know who it is, which is part of the coolness of it, but had like 220 followers. So like I was in that beginning group, and now I haven't checked lately, but it's way up there. He's been mentioned on Tucker Carlson. Russell Brand has mentioned him. Rogan's mentioned him. I mean, a lot of people are now following Unusual Whales because he breaks stuff first, particularly unusual stuff that's going on in the stock market. When awfully suspect shit like happened this week goes on, or last week, really, he's on top of it. So I just shout out for being on top of stuff and making us look good, because you give us lots of stuff to talk about each week. And I just thank you so much.
Yeah, I could not have said it any better. And the content that we've got from Unusual Whales this week is fantastic.
Oh, so it's phenomenal.
We're gonna get that out there.
Just keeps coming.
What's that? Who's coming?
I said it just keeps coming from Unusual Whales.
Oh yeah, totally. Totally.
Yeah, those guys they don't stop. And it's in all the dynamics too, whether it's the website, the tweeting, just the research that they pull is phenomenal.
It's I'd really like to know. 1.2 million followers is how many followers Unusual Whales has now at this point.
Yeah.
And listen, if you're not following them, please click that follow button. I mean, they deserve every follow they can get, because I mean, like we said, just on top of it. And like Jefe said, this week, this is where, I mean, they really earn their money. It just keeps coming, and they're on top of it. Just good stuff. Great stuff.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. Bold Talk by Joe. Big shout out to you. Thank you for all the support online. You got a great show, man. You guys can follow them. First of all, check them out on Twitter. It's going to be at Bold Talk by Joe. Great content. You can follow him on Good Pods. Just a great show. Good guy. He also has a YouTube channel you guys can go to, and that's at Bold Talk by Joe as well. He's got a video podcast and the regular audio, obviously. I had to say it. Love this guy. Another
phenomenal. We've mentioned him on the show before. Had a chance to talk to him on our Twitter live space that time. Great guy. I'm tired of saying it. We just need to do it. We need to do a collab with him and either have him on our show or us completely ruin his show. But one way or the other, that needs to happen.
Something.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, Big Nick. Thank you for making me laugh every goddamn day.
The memes this dude either finds or comes up with, they're tremendous.
And he's so fucking tolerant too with our stupid shit. So thank you very, very much.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and take a quick break, and then we'll get into some of the this business. Sound good?
The business. Yeah, sounds great. Let's do it.
All right. Are you guys following anything that's going on with March Madness? I know, Jefe, you're a betting man, so I wanted to see if you had any action going right now.
No. I'm like that kid that went in the candy jar 120 times, and then the parent finally cut their fingers off.
Oh.
No, it's been a rough couple of weeks. So I'm just kind of watching the March Madness stuff. I've never been really good at March Madness. I mean, I'm not a big college football guy. I like the brackets and stuff like that, but as far as betting on it, I'm just throwing money around.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I have 15 whole dollars on ASU right now, and they're kicking the shit out of Nevada.
Good.
Okay, so based on what you just said, McShane, I now know of 3 teams that are in the tournament. Up until that, I only knew of one team that was in, and that's UConn.
So
but
UConn's always in.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I just that was a guess. No, I didn't even know ASU had made the tournament. So that's good news. But no, I'm so far removed from sports, guys. I mean, I did watch the Super Bowl. and the calamity that was, because I used to be an Eagles fan. I can't even say I am anymore. I'm still a huge Suns fan. I can't get their games up here, and I'm certainly not going to watch the Trailblazers unless they're playing the Suns.
Right.
So I've just kind of fallen out of watching sports because it just isn't in my life much. None of my friends up here are sports people, none of them. So I don't even have an opportunity to be like, hey, let's go down to the bar and watch the game. I mean, the only thing anybody cares about here are the Ducks, the Oregon Ducks. And I literally could not care less. Maybe if they had like a better mascot, like, like Charles, the fighting eagle or something, but Puddles, the duck, I can't do it. It's fucking lame. It's lame. So anyway, no, I had no idea who was even in the tournament.
Yeah, ASU they got the little play-in games now. I don't know if you know about that, D, but instead of 4 teams are 68, and then they have 4 games, 2 games yesterday, 2 games today, and the 4 winners get into the 64 field.
I see.
One of those teams playing tonight. So,
all right. Well, I mean, go Devils. I mean, I will forever be a Devils fan. Not only did I grow up being a Devils fan, but went to ASU for a couple of years. I can't say that I graduated, but I went there. So I'll always be a Devils fan. So go Devils. Woo.
All right. So we should probably get into what happened this week with Silicon Valley Bank.
Oof.
Because we covered this on the show on Saturday, and we knew full well that stuff was going to be happening. We even said, watch out Monday, everything's going to tank, which it did.
Yep, it did.
But holy shit, even Sunday. I mean, this was such a rapidly progressing story that we're so far removed from where we were on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, and I think before we get too deep into what we do know, I think it's important to start with the fact that there were actual congresspeople, I guess, I don't know what you call them, who were calling for an active censorship of this story so that there would not be a bank run on Monday. That is facts, folks. Mark Kelly led the charge, but he was not alone. Actually calling for censorship. And none of you get to hear it, but our walk-up music tonight was Freedom of Speech by why can't I remember their name now?
It was MC Ren, and I can't remember what the name of the.
Yeah, I'll remember it.
Above the law.
Thank you. And I mean the First Amendment literally guarantees that Congress can't censor anything from journalists, from individuals, nothing like that. Hate speech, if you're hurting other people with your speech, then yeah, you can be censored. This is not hate speech to report facts about a bank collapsing because people are stupid. So I just wanted to get that out of the way first. Now we can kind of talk about what we do know. And then you have to ask yourself at the end of all this, what don't we know? Because there's active censorship going on.
So that story was broke by Michael Schellenberger, not a friend to Congress right now.
No,
as we discussed last week. So yeah, Mark Kelly, Mark Kelly from Tucson, Arizona. Yeah, he's the one who got called to the carpet most on that, and he's just nothing's gonna happen to him. It's just absolutely bullshit. The fact that you can try to censor something off because you're afraid of a bank run when everybody is reacting how they probably should react because, oh yeah, the government isn't doing much about it.
Right.
You reap the whirlwind. You don't get to do that.
Right.
And the fact that you're willing to do that, it's more Democrat bullshit.
Dude, McShane, that is such an important part. Before we move on, what you just said is so huge because if our fearless government, who, quote unquote, we elected, felt like they had control of the situation and felt like that they could handle it, then they would want the story out there because then they could come over the top of it with a wet blanket and say, hey, this isn't a fire. We're putting it out. The fact that they wanted to censor things means it was out of control, and probably still is.
Yeah.
That's a huge point, dude. I'm glad you brought that up because if you read, if you go to the second layer of this thing and you say, okay, censorship, oh, that's kind of offensive. But why the censorship? Because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. That's why. Crazy. Well,
let's go ahead and look at the number. So just so everybody's aware, the Fed came in and bailed them out. They took one for the team, and they came in and covered the depositors. Anybody who invested in anything said,
yeah,
you guys are SOL. You guys should have known what you're investing in, which, you know what, I kind of agree with that a little bit. You
Absolutely.
should know where you're sticking your money. So I don't feel that bad for the investors in this case. But what makes me throw up a little bit, which makes the censorship even worse, is when we look at who the actual depositors are in that bank. So again, unusual whales. And I think you found this today. This was fantastic.
Yeah.
Total Silicon Valley Bank party donations from unusual whales. All right. So they had 31.3% were Republican, 68.7% were Democrat out of the ones that they found that were going to be for, that were politically charged, we'll say.
And he's got receipts. I mean, that's the best part about this account. He's got fucking receipts.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. It's so great.
So Act Blue, the pack is all over the place. All over the place. We're talking tons of money was in there.
Oh God, yeah.
As far as accounts. Nunez Victory Fund, Silicon Valley Bank PAC.
Wow, they started their own political action committee.
Yeah.
DNC services.
Yep.
Democratic National Committee. Jesus.
John Ossoff. I think he was for Senate. That's Georgia.
What the fuck is a Georgian politician doing getting kickbacks from Silicon Valley Bank?
Well, no. This is everybody who put money in the bank so that they could invest.
Oh.
Well,
I thought I'm sorry. These were donations.
They held this money in that bank. That's why they wanted to why they wanted to be bailed out.
Sure. Okay. Important also to note before we get too far, the FDIC has said that they will. There's not an exact number out there, but they said 90 to 95% of all deposits will be insured. So, whoever that 10 to 5 to 10% is that's not being covered, you're SOL, bro. If it's over $250,000, it's gone. It like literally in the wind. You might as well have taken that cash out and used it as TP because it's gone.
It's probably a mom and pop shop that they're not going to cover.
Exactly.
That's
bet.
Pretty much par for the course. And I'm making an assumption here, but that kind of seems like
it's a safe one. It's a safe one.
Friends of Schumer, MoveOn.org, WinRed, more Act Blue accounts, tons of Act Blue accounts,
lots of them. Good God.
Democratic National Committee, DNC Services Corp, Josh Harder for Congress.
Hey-o.
Montana.
Hey, I just I want to throw out a word of caution. Unusual whales, whoever you are or whomever you are, please be safe, man. You're going to be found, hanging with a shotgun wound to your chest here if you're not careful, because they are literally outing everyone and anyone that's in and around this thing. And I love it, dude. I have a heart on for you. You're my hero, but just be careful. Cause I want you to keep doing what you're doing, man. We need you right now. We need accounts like this.
Breaking unusual whales again. California Governor Gavin Newsom lobbied the White House and Treasury on the bailout of Silicon Valley Bank without disclosing that his private wineries had reportedly been the bank's clients, and he may have even had a personal account at the bank.
I mean, not surprising, but fuck you, Gavin. Again, I don't know if we've talked about these links, but Gavin Newsom is the nephew to Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi's family goes back to the mobsters in the 30s in California. So you're talking about I mean, that's why this behavior doesn't surprise me. You're talking about a history of criminals here. And you follow that family tree and it's pretty disgusting. So yikes.
So that was fun. That was a fun happening. 19 regional banks were absolutely decimated. And this, let's see, as of March 13th, so that would have been on Monday. But let's see here. We had Western Alliance Bank Corp just free fell 82%. Oh. First Republic Bank is looking to get purchased now. I saw that tonight. They went down 70%. Customers Bank Corp 56%, PacWest Bank Corp 53%, Metropolitan Bank Holding 49%.
Okay,
Zions Bank Corp in Utah, which is a very big bank.
Yeah, they are
down 28%.
What everyone needs to understand about this, because you might be at home saying, well, I live in Arizona. I live in Kentucky. I live in Florida. I don't know anything about Zions Bank Corp. I don't know anything about Bank of Hawaii. I don't bank with these people. The problem is, if you have any money invested into a retirement fund, you probably do have money in these banks and you just don't know it. And even if you don't, someone you know does. And so I said last week on the show that this is like a very big rock being thrown into a very small pond. This is the kind of ripples we're talking about. It's not just SVB that goes down. It's now 19 regional banks that are all gone, and all of the investors in those regional banks and all of the depositors of those regional banks now have to be reinstated, made whole again by the U.S. government. Now, you think that happens in 2 to 3 days? No fucking way. You're talking at best 2 to 3 months before they get their money back. So, I mean, this is a serious problem. And because of that, the ripples just start climbing and climbing. I mean, they go out and they're going to start touching all the shores. So even if you're not an investor, you're not a banker, if you hold a job or the business that you work for has money in these things, it's going to affect all of us. And negatively, this isn't a positive in any way. So the ripples are many, and they're just starting.
And it's just, I mean, you have the obvious financial impact, right? But then as that ripple grows and grows and grows, you stop having faith in your regional banks. When you stop having faith in your regional banks, you're going to turn around and you're going to pull your money from those regional banks, sink them, and then you're going to put the money into the big four.
You bet.
And as that banking system gets tighter and tighter and tighter. Fitz, did you know that in 1921 there were 31,500 banks in the U.S.?
I can honestly say I did not know that.
Did you know that there are only 4,000 as of today?
See, and that is consistent with whether you're talking about banking, whether you're talking about media companies, whether you're talking about food companies. We're down to, banking is still one of the most diverse areas you can get into because of all the credit unions, et cetera. But you get to media companies, there's 3, 4. There, you get down to food companies, there's 4. You get down to investment bankers, like the big investment firms, there's 2. So you get these massive consolidations, and they're smart people. Believe me, they're smart. They're going to know how to play the shell game and have parent companies and subsidiaries and shell companies that hide their money and run them all around the world. But at the end of the day, you come down and you're dealing with a very, very small number of people that have control over what you see what you eat, and where you get to do your banking and where you keep your money. That is a recipe for disaster, in my opinion. I don't like it.
Bank of America took on 15 billion in new deposits, and that was since SVB started.
So that's in 2 days, basically, because the major collapse happened on Friday. You can't bank on Saturday, Sunday. So Monday, yesterday, and today. So 3 days. That's how much. 15 billion. Oh my God. I'm not sure I can write that number. How many zeros is that?
It's
like
a lot.
12?
It's a lot.
It's 9 zeros, actually. I'm not that stupid, but it's more zeros than I've ever written in my life on a check. Wow. That's a great find. I mean, that right there sums it all up. 31,000 banks, and now there's down to 4,000, and you're witnessing probably a collapse down. They're going to half that. It'll be 2,000, 1,000.
I don't know if it's going to get that low, just that quickly though. But it's definitely going to take out the weaker ones. It is, as you have. When banking regulations were loosened under Trump, I think it was the Dodd-Frank Act, it didn't do anything good.
No.
It did nothing good. Yes,
you're right.
It got a lot of people to get creative. Same way as the 2008 mortgage failures got creative.
Yep.
Watch The Big Short. Listen to it, read it. It did nothing for it. So it's just when you get sloppy, things like this happen. And when people are eager, especially now, actual businesses that are more carnivorous, we'll say aggressive, they're going to take advantage of it. And those big four, they're going to score. Wow, I just rhymed. That was terrible.
No, you should. You missed your calling, man. You should have been part of Above the Law. Yeah, I guess at the end of the day, McShane, great points. Absolutely. I can't argue any of those points. You're right. And I guess that's what capitalism is all about. But, I end that with a question mark, because if capitalism is all about the big dogs eating the little dogs, then as a culture, we're basically saying that we are somehow discriminatory against those who don't have, those that who have less than. And I as somebody who I've been there, I've lived that life of being very, very I won't say poor, but I will say not wealthy, being on food stamps, etc. That's a hard statement to swallow. And there's a lot of people out there who undeservedly, they're out there working their asses off, and they're going to get fucked by this. And that's not, they're hardworking, good people with children supporting, they're paying their taxes. They're doing the right things. They put their signal on when they're going to turn right. And they're going to get screwed by this. And I have scruples, man. It's not okay with me.
Well, it also crushes their hope.
Right.
You
right.
want to hope that, I'm a little guy and I can go ahead and I can make myself up big. The whole American dream. I can go ahead
right.
and I can create a business, and I can go ahead and make this, make something awesome, generational wealth for my family. That's talked about. And it's just, it is a slap in the face. It truly is. And as you get down and there's less competition, we lose, because we stop getting, companies, businesses that want to be competitive. They're fine going ahead and settling for just being, the big four. You don't have to, you're not going to get the special deals. Maybe your interest rates are going to suck, and that's going to be, you're not going to get as good a deal in places. We've already seen that. Look at the auto industry. The auto industry has cannibalized itself so much.
Yes, it is.
Now you don't have a lot of variety, since everybody and their brother owns, Ford. Okay, Ford owns Ford. Ford owns Range Rover. I think it owns Volvo too.
Jaguar, don't they own Jaguar now?
They own, yep,
Yeah.
good one. They own Jaguar. This is what happens in capitalism, and that sucks. It truly, truly sucks. I'm not sure I like any other system right now, but
Right.
this one's fucked.
Yeah.
Right now, and
But it's the least fucked.
Well, I think it's the least fucked, but it's
Yeah.
also the one that's become it seems to me like it's spiraling out of control. Just because, I mean, you look at healthcare.
Well, oh God. Yeah. I mean,
there's no competition in there. You
No.
have a couple of different pharmaceutical companies, and they could fuck you any which way they want, and then there's COVID. So it is definitely broken. There's not going to be a lot of competition, and the little guys who are out here just throwing together a podcast, trying to do something right, we're going to end up getting slapped around for it, and that just fucking sucks.
Can I pose a question for you, because I'm sitting here listening to you, and just really good points. God damn, this is why I love this show, because you bring up shit I didn't think about before, and I hope I do the same for you. But I'm sitting here thinking, okay, this is the best we've got. Okay, we're in this capitalistic paradigm, and let's just say that it's as close to nature as we can get. So let's say we have a nice forest glade, and there's a few rabbits, but they're held in check by the foxes and the eagles and whatever else kills rabbits. But the farmer comes along and he's like, hey, these foxes are killing my chickens, and he blows away half the fox population. And so rabbits do what they do, and all of a sudden there's this population explosion, and not enough foxes to take care of it, and not enough eagles to take care of it. And the rabbits literally eat themselves to starvation. I mean, they'll just consume, like a virus would. They'll just consume until the living entity dies around it. Maybe that's what we're witnessing right now. Maybe we're all sort of not cannibalizing one another, but we're sucking up all the available resources. And when those resources are gone, the population that we're going to have to, some of us are going to have to perish for it. Not die off. I don't see this as the end of civilization, but I see this as a purge. And maybe that's just the natural way of things. We've gotten too big for our britches. And maybe it's time for a culling. And so my question to you is, kind of what along the lines of what you're saying, but I mean, is this healthy? Is this an ecosystem that is just putting itself in check?
I think there's an argument to be made for that. It's kind of like when your forest fires aren't bad.
Right.
They're natural. They're good. They're natural for the environment. They get rid of the undergrowth that shouldn't be there and everything that can grow through it, and lets renew new life. It could be good. I mean,
honestly, not for everybody.
Well, no. So when I look at SVB, right, I see a bank that was shit. Its managerial style was garbage. The things that it invested in were garbage.
Super
it
aggressive.
in handshake deals.
Yep.
It thought that it was smarter than everybody else, and that it was going to be able to go ahead and do and go with bonds and go with housing when everybody could see that bonds, things were changing because of what the Fed was doing with the interest rates. Everybody could see what was happening to the housing and fucking A. I'm not any kind of an economist, but when houses are quadrupling in price,
oh yeah,
I know that's inflated and it's going to come back down.
Yeah.
They didn't pay any attention to that either. So when I see a gangrenous business like this, yes, I absolutely believe that it's a good thing that it was failed, and I think it should have been allowed to. But so many people are going to get fucked because of that. So they get off because the government went ahead and bailed them out. Now, it saves those entities that were invested with them or had their money there.
Yeah,
But
and
I question
Yeah.
whether they should have had their money there too, because
I know.
how many of those businesses were worth it?
right. Well,
we've talked
right.
about we've talked about the climate cults.
Yep.
You know, there was a hell of a lot in there. We've talked about crypto. There's another angle that this was an attack on crypto because they had so much, because there's so much
Yeah.
tech involved in SVB, which I'm not buying into that one. But there were a lot of tech companies in there that would have gotten crushed as well because they wouldn't have been able to go ahead and make, you know, payroll. So I can see it being a good thing, but it's a very scary thing too, because there are so many people that would have been just absolutely destroyed by that. And it's going to be continuing in the next few weeks, especially when we talk about Credit Suisse.
Yeah. Well, that's the next one. And I'm with you. I'm okay. I'm okay with the paradigm of survival of the fittest. I really am. Apparently the Swiss are not, because Credit Suisse, and I don't want to put them in the same category as Silicon Valley Bank, because they're not, I mean, this is one of the largest banks on the planet. So they are not totally risky and putting all their money into tech and to climate companies and all that like SVB was. So I don't want to put them in the same category. However, the ripples that went from that little pond to the big worldwide pond have affected Credit Suisse. Credit Suisse asked their biggest investor, which is the Bank of Saudi Arabia, to buy more of their assets, to buy more bonds, to invest more money into the bank. And that's all well and good. I think that probably happens all the time. I mean, we never hear about it because, you know, business deals are going on behind the scenes.
Right.
But the Bank of Saudi Arabia was like, I think we're good. And they walked away from it. And investors found out about that. And there was a fucking panic. And by all accounts, Credit Suisse came probably within hours, maybe even minutes of having a major run and default. But the Bank of Switzerland stepped in and said, no, we will cover whatever gaps there are for Bank Suisse. You know, how long has Bank Suisse, Credit Suisse been around? I mean, like 300 years or something. I mean, it's an old bank, and they said, there's no way we're going to let this fail. So they stepped in and said, we're going to support it no matter what. And kind of like the Fed stepped in and said, hey, our banking system is just fine. We're going to step in and print as much money as we need to.
Right.
Now, that's all well and good. But if any of you have been following this little thing called inflation, the way we got here was we've printed too much money. So so now that forces the Fed and any other, you know, Euro Fed sort of entities to have to raise rates even more because we have too much money in the system for bailing out these fuckholes. It is and there's been warning signs from Credit Suisse for what, 2 months, 3 months. We talked about this.
You called this like 3 months ago.
Yeah, we talked about this a while back. They've been sort of, you know, the rock skipping across the pond. They've been skipping, but eventually, you know, that thing's not going to make it across the pond. It's going to hit at a certain angle and it's going down. And that was almost yesterday and today, but they got bailed out. And I'm going to say on air, I'm glad for that, because if they had gone down, they have $560 billion in assets. That one would touch everybody because, you know, oh, by the way, there's only 8 billion people on the planet. So in one way or another, that $580 billion defaulting would have touched all of us. So I'm glad they got bailed out, but holy shit. Not good.
So we've got Moody's has cut the outlook on the U.S. banking system. I think if I remember correctly, they just used a dumpster fire for what they
Is that the official?
That is the official Moody's outlook now. It's just dumpster fire.
I love that. I hope that's what they use from now on. You heard it here first, folks. Oh shit.
love seeing that analysts were saying everybody should buy Silicon Valley 2 weeks prior to it going tits up.
Dude,
including Jim Cramer. Let's not forget about that fuck.
That's what I was just gonna say. We have not called him out enough on this show. We've called him out, but if you're listening to Jim Cramer, who is on MSNBC, I mean, there's a joke in the financial world that if Jim Cramer says to buy, you sell, and if he says to sell, you buy. I mean, Absolutely. It is just a running joke out there. You do the exact opposite of what he says to do. And he, a week and a half ago, said, SVB is a great buy-in. Put everything you got into it. And then it collapses. I mean, he is the angel of death when it comes to stocks. Why don't we need to torch him more? We need to have a weekly, what the fuck did Jim Cramer fuck up this week segment.
I agree. and
God.
Follow Inverse Kramer.
Oh yeah,
on Twitter.
Great follow, another great follow. Yeah,
and Dr. Kramer. Find Dr. Kramer on Twitter. Follow him also.
Yep.
All right.
I mean, and those are accounts set up just to call him out on his ridiculousness.
Oh fuck! I'm not even. You know what? I don't even want to get into what Psaki said about Biden being up at 9 a.m. to fuck all.
Oh yeah.
Should I It's quick,
dude,
right?
Quick. Do it. It's quick.
Let's just do it.
Yeah, just listen to this. Unbelievable.
Right.
And that's what people need to hear from him. Now, it's important to note, President Biden does nothing at 9 a.m. He is a night owl. So the fact that he is doing this at 9 a.m. anyway speaks to how vital the White House recognizes it is for him to have his voice out there, conveying that to the American public.
Thanks, Jen. Makes me feel so much better that my president isn't doing anything at 9 a.m. That's great. So while I'm up working my ass off to try and make a go of it, my president is what? Still in bed, changing his diapers, eating his oatmeal that's been in a blender for an hour so he can choke it down. What is he doing at 9 a.m. if not being a president?
I have no idea. I have no idea. The rest of the world is up at 6:30 in the morning working.
Yep. If I had the compunction, which I don't, but if I had even the slightest inkling of wanting to be president, I would know heading into that the early bird gets the worm, and I'm going to be up at fucking 4 every morning, and I'm going to be out hitting just grinding it down until 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, period. I mean, that's why these guys start out looking like, vibrant men, and they leave office looking like the devil fucked them in the face. That's because they do long hours. They put in the hard work. Some of it, most of it probably is not good work, but they put in hard work. And for her to come out and be like, hey, just so you know, this is so important, he did something at 9 a.m. I'm like, I've been up for 3 hours, bitch. What do you mean?
I couldn't believe it when we saw that. That was just whatever. God.
Yikes.
Let's go to break.
Yeah, please.
All right. So before we get off of Biden, let's go see what else we've got here, because I think he was kind of this is James Cormer. Let's go and listen to some of this.
Spoken, and you've been digging in on the business of the Biden family. What have you learned?
Well, we've had a very good 2 weeks, Maria. We are finally having people cooperate with us. I think we all know the Biden administration stonewalling. Janet Yellen yelling and stonewalling, not turning over the bank violations. But fortunately, since we've last spoken, we actually have bank records in hand. We have individuals who are working with our committee. In the last 2 weeks, we've met with either these individuals personally or with their attorneys. And that would be 4 individuals who had ties in with the Biden family on their various schemes around the world. So now we have in hand documents that show just exactly how the Biden family was getting money from the Chinese Communist Party. And I will tell you, it's as bad as we thought, Maria. It's very concerning. And in a way, I'm kind of glad that the Biden attorney, Abby Lowell, and the Biden administration has been stonewalling us, because when I requested that information 2 weeks ago versus today, because of what we have in hand now, we have a lot stronger case in court for why we need these documents that the Biden family is withholding and that the government's withholding. So they have unintentionally helped our case in our quest to get these documents to where we can give the American people the truth and the transparency that they deserve out of their leadership in Washington.
Congressman, this is so extraordinary. This is the #1 adversary of America, and you're telling us that the Biden family has accepted money. What does the CCP have on the Biden family? And is that the reason for the soft approach on China? We will slip in a short break, and then I want to get...
Well, what does it?
You know, so again, we've mentioned it before, but McShane and Jefe and I have a running chat all week. And one of the things that we brought up and really discussed in depth this week was the narrative shift. We sort of talked about it on last week's show, but and all of a sudden now you've got Fauci being hung out to dry. That he, you know, the emails leaked that he knew all about this Wuhan lab leak, and let's cover it up. He was active in that whole disinformation campaign. We have the Bidens now being hung out to dry, both with Hunter's laptop and now with this financial disclosure sheet. We have January 6th being brought out that everybody who was involved on that January 6th committee was basically a fucking liar, and they didn't even look at the video. So they don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. You have these narratives that are all systematically being killed off. And I don't know. I don't know the answer to this. I have no proof. I have no, I have nothing other than my instinct. And in my gut, it just makes me ask, okay, they want us to be looking at all of these things. What don't they want us looking at? What's going on in Ukraine? What's going on with John Fetterman? What's going on with the mothership that supposedly entered our solar system? What's going on with the banking system worldwide? You know, hey, let's everybody, SVB, it's down, blah, blah, look over here. And meanwhile, the, you know, entire banking system collapses, or I don't know. I'm the mind wanders. But the fact is there's a narrative shift, and now everything around COVID is coming out that it was evil and or it was motivated by money, which those of us who've been talking about this already knew. But now it's writ large. Everybody's finding out about it. So it makes me think, okay, they've given that up. I mean, in a military sense, okay, we're going to let you have that lesser hill, but you still have to come up this fucking mountain where we're really hiding all the goods, where we really have all of our heavy artillery. So what's up the mountain now? Where are we headed here? That's what I ask.
Well, let's play this nugget by Fauci, who's actually the highest paid federal employee.
And on this theory of a lab leak, I've been wondering this. Do we have any idea how that would even work? Have you heard any accounts as to how that might have happened? Is there speculation in the scientific community as to how that happened?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Jim. So one of the things that people maybe don't fully appreciate, that all of the intelligence agencies agree unanimously that this was not engineered. Namely, they didn't deliberately do this to make a bioweapon. Everybody agrees with that. No matter what your prior thoughts were, everybody agrees with that. A lab leak could be that someone was out in the wild maybe looking for different types of viruses in bats, got infected, went into a lab, and was being studied in the lab, and then it came out of the lab. But if that's the definition of a lab leak, Jim, then that still is a natural occurrence. The other possibility is someone takes a virus from the environment that doesn't actually spread very well in humans and manipulates it a bit, and accidentally it escapes or accidentally infects someone, and then you get an outbreak. Those are the possibilities when you're talking about lab leaks.
But are there any accounts of that occurring where one might say, okay, well, there we go. Perhaps this is it. This is what happened.
No.
That you're aware of.
In fact, there are no lab leaks that have led to pandemics. So there have been accidents in a lab that happens intermittently. We've had experiences with that in modern times recently, but there have never been a situation where a virus escaped from a lab that's a brand new virus that no one has ever seen before that led to a pandemic. That has not happened.
Wow. I think I used the term earlier this week when I found this clip. The mental gymnastics required for this. He's a fucking Olympian. He's a mental gymnastics Olympian, this Fauci. I can't even follow the logic flow that he's trying to get all of us to adopt. He's so fucking far out in left field. He's not even playing baseball anymore.
I've got an analyst chiming in here. Let's listen.
Please.
Mr. Madison, what you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
I am now raising my hand because I feel dumber.
It was just spin.
Yep.
It was not wanting to cop to something he knew happened. It's just bizarre that they even allowed him that on TV. I just can't believe it.
That's a good point too. At this point, they should be literally shoving him into Fort Knox and locking the door and just saying, here's food and water for the next 90 days. Go shit in the corner.
He should be retiring.
Yeah. He should be nowhere near a camera. I don't know. And here's the facts of it. And I think I mentioned this a couple shows ago. This is a intestinal virus in bats. Intestinal, which means if it was going to make the leap to another species, 99.9% guarantees it's going to be intestinal in that new species as well. Whether it's a pig or another bird, well, bats aren't birds, but a bird, whatever, it would be intestinal because that's where this virus lives. It doesn't live in, the windswept areas of your, respiratory system. It lives in a warm, calm, wet environment like your intestines. So for him to even want us to swallow the bait, hook, line, and sinker all, that this was accidental, you're fucking out of your mind, dude. If you actually follow the real science, like the science that actually people are doing and not the science they tell you to believe, there's no possible way this could have happened naturally. I mean, the chances are there's a better chance of me being a fucking velociraptor right now talking to you. There's a better chance in the multiverse that I'm a velociraptor.
I'd actually like to see that. A Fitzoraptor?
A VelociFitz?
A VelociFitz, yes. Hey, but you know what?
Yeah.
You know what, though? If they hadn't had all this happen with COVID, they couldn't have billed us twice for it.
That's a very good point. Another fantastical article that you just think, what the fuck? So, yeah, go ahead. You introduce the article, because after you listen, I want all of you, after you listen to what McShane has to tell you about this story, I want you all to sit back in whatever chair you're in, or maybe you're walking around at work, I want you to stop and ponder what you're about to learn right now. Ponder.
The U.S. government previously gave a biosafety level 4 Wuhan lab $3.7 million in research grants. The NIH was blasted earlier this year by an official watchdog for failing to keep tabs on U.S.-sponsored virus experiments in China. Congressional hearings on the origins of COVID-19 have brought the lab leak theory back to the forefront after it was dismissed as a conspiracy theory by leading scientists. Couple that with nobody was paying attention to the books and we got billed twice for it.
Double billed. So not only did we pay for COVID to be invented, created, engineered, we paid for it twice, everybody. Twice. Somebody made bank off of this whole process. So let's say the process should have taken 1.2 million to make happen and infect the American people. Well, they went ahead and billed us twice because who's really watching the books? So now we're paying, or even more than 1.2, probably 1.7. So now we're paying 3.4 for something that that we got sick with and that killed a lot of people. I mean, I don't mean to make light of this. A lot of particularly people in a very vulnerable populations, the elderly, people who were already had health risks. A lot of people died from this. And we paid for it twice. And let's not even then go into the fact that all of the R&D, research and development that goes into pharmaceutical companies, that is all taxpayer driven. And then when it comes to the profits that these companies are making, Pfizer, Moderna, they take all the profits. They don't pay us back for what we put into their R&D. We don't get that back. They take it. They take all the profits. They do no risk. There's no investment up front. They just take all the profits. And so when I see... go ahead.
And all of the research.
Right. To do other things with. That's right. So when I see people jump onto Twitter and they, out of pure emotion, jump on there and they say, yeah, but the vaccine saved people. A, that's false. And B, okay, let's say it saved 20% of the people that took it. I'm willing to give you that. Then we should get that money back as taxpayers. That should be a refund on our taxes for the R&D we put into that. We don't see any of that. None of it. This dynamic we have right now is, it's unsustainable. So we'll just see where it goes. Crazy. All right, how's that beer warming up for you? I was
just gonna say, don't go to another topic. We got to get.
No, I'm not. No, I want to go to the beers because I have an interesting phenomena happening with this beer that I want to talk about. But what about yours? How's your beer doing?
It was good. Really easy. In fact, I'm actually on my side bitch now.
Oh, good.
I'm taking a card out of your deck,
dude. Yeah, that's great.
It's good.
Good. Okay. So what's happened with this beer is sort of rare, but it does happen every once in a while. So, it started off, as I said, strong on all the notes that you want: the vanilla, the coffee, the cocoa. As it's warmed up, I am almost overwhelmed with the booze. This thing got real hot as it warmed up. Really? I mean, it's to the point where I almost feel like I'm inhaling the alcohol of it.
Okay.
As I swallow, you kind of get that in the upper nasal area, the sinuses.
Oh yeah.
It's clearing my sinuses. It's really, I mean, it's almost like, how quickly alcohol evaporates. It's almost like that. Like it's very hot. So I'm not saying it was unpleasant. I'm just saying I didn't get that in the beginning. I'm getting it very heavily in the end. So still a huge fan of Bear Lick, but wow, it's there's a lot of booze in this. Nice.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna go and try and find a heavier dose here. I loved it. Loved the beer. I would have this in the house, like year round.
Love it. Is that a
um,
poolside beer?
Yeah. Oh, it totally is.
Okay.
It
Okay.
totally
So,
is.
so dude, when I make it down there this summer, because I need to come check out your new pool. And I
Yep.
mean the jacuzzi, the whole deal. When I come down there this summer, let's enjoy a couple of those around the pool. That's
like
my only request.
You got it. You got
Cool. Cool.
it. All right, let's get into beer 2, and we'll be back with you guys in a minute.
Love it.
All right. Fitz, I'm going to go with another Tripping Animals beer. And
I really enjoy, and I'm not going to speak for our listeners, but I really like the nights personally. I like the nights when you or I stick with like a brewer and see how consistent they are. You know, maybe you liked one beer but hated the other, or loved them both or hated them both or whatever. So it's awesome to see the consistency there. So good for you.
I will try to do that more often too. I haven't, because I like the dark stuff. It's kind of hard for me to find a lot of stuff from week to week without spending too much time on, you know, like an almanac or I can't think of the other one, a Yeti or something along those lines.
Right.
But yeah, well, I like it because I like it when you do that too, especially when you had the cider series with
Yes.
Ben Cider.
Yep.
Yeah, it's cool, and it's actually it brings us back to a little bit more science too, which is I think it's important we do that too.
Yeah, I think, you know, one of the things, you know, we should do a show, just one show where we can get Jefe on here the whole time. And, you know, obviously both of us, and just literally talk about just the history and why we're all friends, because I think we give our listeners little snippets and I think they love that. I mean, I'm not saying they don't like that, but it'd be cool for everyone to hear like our story from beginning, some really awesome memories we have of each other when we were younger, and maybe some not so awesome memories, you know,
Totally.
and then just how we got here. But one of the things that you and I think bonded over, is that you know, at heart, you and I are both scientists. I mean, I love the hypothesis stage. I love that. Give me your craziest idea. But even more than that, I want to know the trials and tribulations and how you set up the studies and how you got to proving or disproving your original hypothesis and then start over again with a new hypothesis. I love that process. And you and I have always talked about that. It's one of the things I think, as far as like Dungeons and Dragons players, those are always geeky people, but you and I took it to another level because we made our fight scenes scientific. We made, if you wanted to use a magic spell, it was scientific. We had to know what ingredients. I mean, we took it to another level. And I just think you and I have always bonded over that. And so, of course, that would translate into not only the beers we like, but the beers we don't like and why. And the brewers we like, the brewers we don't like. So it's something you and I have always shared. And I just really appreciate that about you. So anytime you start to geek out over a beer or a brewery, I'm all ears. I can't hear enough.
Well, we seriously haven't, and I've got to tell you guys, we get nerdy about well, as you can see with the way we dig into different issues and different articles, and then the rabbit holes we go in, and then all of a sudden there's like an hour and a half has already gone from the show, and we're only through 2 topics, right? We've always done that, and it's fun. It's fun. So yeah, I appreciate you being able to do that and be okay with me be acting like that. So
absolutely,
all right.
100%. Not only am I okay with it, I'm fully supportive, man. If you were to start a GoFundMe, I'd be your first donor.
Perfect. All right, this beer, I'm going to kick it up 2 levels. I'm going to go with a Triple India Pale Ale. This is actually a hazy when you look at it. And I'm going to go with, it's going to be a juicy hazy too. like my women, and it smells good. If you guys ever start studying hops and things, Galaxy hops have a very, very specific smell.
Dude, that's so funny because I was just about to bring up the El Dorado hops. I have a funny story about the El Dorado hops, but go ahead.
So this was a collaboration with Short Throw Brewing, and holy shit. This is Tripping Animals is from Florida, by the way. Oh wow, that's a dangerous triple IPA, my friend. That's a 10%er. Citrus. It's sweet, fresh. It is so much a hazy, and it's a thick hazy too. We're not talking like a shake, but it's a thick hazy. Not a lot of head to it, but this is such a fresh beer. And I think it's wow, it's about 2 months old. Fucking nailed it tonight. It's going to be a really, really, really tough decision for who I'm taking to bed.
I love it. I love it. No, I had a beer on, I think it was Sunday, and they mentioned El Dorado hops, which is in your beer. And I was like, what the fuck is El Dorado hop? What is that? Dude, this is a hop genetically engineered, and I don't mean by science. I mean by literally people going out and artificially inseminating different plants by hand to create a specific hop that this one farm came up with, and they named it the El Dorado. And it didn't come out until 2010. That's when this hop was originally created and perfected. And it has grown. Brewers using El Dorado, Sierra Nevada, Stone, Deschutes, Three Weavers, Cigar City, Urban Roots, Weldworks, Green Cheek, among many others. There's lots of breweries out there using El Dorado, including the one that you're drinking tonight. And what they claim is that it's a proprietary blend, of course, because they hand engineered it, but it is one of those hops that can take on the notes of whatever other hops you want to put it with. So if you want a super hoppy beer, this is your supercharger. This is steroids. You're gonna supercharge it. It's gonna be super hoppy. Or if you want to mellow this bitch out and make more of a hazy, more of a easy drinker, more of a session IPA, then you add some El Dorado in there because it'll take on those qualities. So it's a really popular. I mean, obviously they're selling lots of their stuff. But I just happened to do this research on this hop, and I didn't even know how I was going to work it into one of our shows. I thought maybe in 2 or 3 shows I'd find a beer with it. And then you fucking pull up with this thing and it has El Dorado in it. So there you go, folks. That's how McShane and I operate. We basically share a brain. And he's doing shit that he doesn't even know why he's doing it. And it's because I wanted to say something. So there it is. Good stuff.
So yeah, that's freaking funny. Well, and especially since we very seldom do IPAs.
Yeah, right. We don't generally like them.
If it's even more rare.
Yeah. Right.
So, and these particular hops that are in there, the Galaxy and then the El Dorado, it really brings out that juicy, fruity qualities while not turning it into an actual fruit beer. God, it's just really well done. It's a very well finished beer. Sorry, I've carried on too long. What do you got?
No, you have not, dude. I did most of the talking on that. I couldn't believe your beer had El Dorado in it. So I went with a new brewery that I've never tried before. This brewery is called Single Hill. Again, another Pacific Northwest brewery. I believe they're from Washington, but I can't find it anywhere here. And of course, the print. Fuck, man. I feel like I need glasses for my glasses.
No,
you know what I mean?
It's the same thing. I can't read half the cans anymore.
Shit. Anyway, this beer is called Family Time. It's a winter warmer. Now I want you to keep in mind the name Family Time. Okay, Family Time. So the description of this beer is a Doppelbock style lager with deep flavors of caramel, toffee, and passive aggressive size. How could I not pick this beer up? I mean, it's totally. It's family time. So I had to get this one in tonight. It's a 7.5%. So I needed a bit of a calm down from that 10%er, which did hit me hard. I'm definitely dialing it back a bit. That one.
Did you get the hemorrhoids, or are you just still the loose?
That's TBD. I don't know yet. I'm gonna have to. That's a visit to the powder room later.
Nice.
Which, by the way, if none of you have ever tried monkey butt, if you have any sort of moisture problems on any part of your body, but it's specifically good for the butt crack. Check out monkey butt. Really great stuff. And I'll tell you what, a little bit goes a long way. So you don't need too much. You just put a little bit between the cheeks, and you're good for days, my friend. Good for days. Anyway, so this is a Doppelbock, which you and I have. I think once we got into craft beers and started discovering sort of the histories of, especially those early German and Swiss beers, the Doppelbocks they just hold a sweet spot in my heart, just because of where they've come from and how they were brewed, mostly by the monks, the fighting monks that we all like to think about.
Right.
And so I love a good Doppelbock, but the fact that this had, that toffee and caramel flavor in it. So anyway, here we go. First sip. Oh God. Yeah. Okay. I mean, this is literally your quintessential Doppelbock. It is light. It's flavorful, full of flavor. I could see you ordering this beer with like a pork roast, a steak, maybe even a really good hearty hamburger, because the flavors are going to complement the savory of the meat. You've got some sort of high notes in there with the hops, but then you have those caramel toffee flavors that really sort of back up what's going on in this beer. This is so you talked about a pool beer. My first beer was kind of one of those winter beers that, when it's snowing outside, you want that stout. This is sort of in between there. This is like a fall, maybe even a spring beer. This one kind of just ignites you and lights you up. It's not going to fuck you up. You could have 2 or 3 of them, be okay. But the flavor, my God, the notes coming through with this thing. I'm actually surprised with this. This is I would take this one to bed again for sure. Wow.
That is awesome. Can you give me the name one more time? I was hung up on the website and the website failed me. So.
Yeah. So Single Hill.
Yep.
And then the name of the beer is Family Time.
Family Time. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Family Time.
Because we have passive aggressive size in this beer, which I mean, you can definitely taste.
So the website was like really made me like it really made me happy right out of the gate, but then they didn't have any of the beers on the site.
Then you can't find any of the beers. What is that? You're a brewery.
I don't know.
Oh shit. That's like going on to fucking some mechanics website and they show you all the tools they use. I don't care, man. What can you do to my car? There it is. There you go.
Yeah,
Family Time.
Their site's it was broken, so I found another way. So that's awesome, especially you could find a winter warmer now because most of that's kind of being phased out.
Well,
this time of year.
Okay, asterisks.
Oh, for us, sorry. Yeah, you're still...
asterisks. Yeah, I've had this beer in the fridge for like a couple months.
Oh, really? You hung on to that long?
I have. I was waiting for the perfect time, and then there wasn't a perfect time. But I will tell you, we're back down in the 20s here. We're having second winter. So this beer just made sense tonight. But this whole week we're down in the 20s. We have a possibility of snow next Tuesday.
That's just
what the fuck is happening? That's like late into March, dude. But anyway, so we're having second winter. So here's to all the winter warmers out there. Cheers. Because I know right now, as we speak, half the country is under like major snow. Did you see about the mall in Minnesota that collapsed from the snow?
No, I didn't see that. I know.
Oh God, yeah.
Boston's or Massachusetts, like, just it's bad.
Oh, it's feet of snow. I mean, they're not talking about inches anymore. They're talking about feet and how many feet you got. It's a bad one. And what's even worse, there's another one coming through. I mean, they're going to get hit again next week. We have a Jefe sighting. What's up, Jefe?
Hey, what's going on?
Dude, so much has happened. And yet nothing at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, let's take a real quick break. We'll get back into things with Jefe, and we'll dive back into our next series of subjects.
Love it.
All right, Jefe. Disasters averted on your end? You good?
Yeah, we just had dinner. There's a little guest here that wants to say hi real quick before she leaves.
Hey, all right.
Hello?
Say hi.
Hi.
Hey, you taking care of Dad tonight?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
That's my little one.
Oh, she's adorable. You
She
gonna
is.
let her listen to the show?
Nope. Maybe someday.
You know what's nice? You know what's real nice about all this is I'm no longer Jefe's little one.
Yep.
For a lot of years, man. A lot of years.
Those days are gone.
Oh shit. What is wrong with us? Seriously. You would think if you just listen to the show, you'd be like, I wonder if that Fitz is on some drugs. I'm telling you what, other than alcohol, I am on 0 medications, 0 drugs. I don't do anything. It's just literally alcohol and my fucked up head.
All right. Jefe.
Yes, sir.
It's good having you back. Have you ever thought about you've done some side hustles? I think we all have. Do you know anybody who has ever cleaned houses topless?
What the hell kind of question is that?
Well, I'm looking to hire somebody, and he's here in town. And I want to know if he knows a girl, a guy. I mean, girl, a woman, woman over the age of 18.
And if anyone would know, it would be Jefe.
Well, I got 2 answers for you, and
Okay.
I don't think either of them are going to help you.
That's okay.
First one is back in my day of carpet cleaning, I did clean carpet with my shirt off once.
Okay, go ahead.
It was one of those. It was a vacant apartment, and the power was off, and it was like August, and it was blistering hot outside, and in there it was just muggy. It was terrible, and so I'm not really one to perform with my shirt off, but I had to do it. I was dying that day.
Okay, Jefe, can I stop you right there, please?
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna go ahead and advocate for my friend Jefe. If any ladies out there, if you need your carpet cleaned with a very attractive man with his shirt off, please give Whiskey Hell a call. Drop us a line on Twitter. We have a website. The phone line is open 24/7. Let us know, because I guarantee you Jefe will show up and clean whatever carpet you need him to clean.
I prefer to clean tile, if you know what I mean.
I was gonna say, you work best on waxed floors, right?
Exactly.
Jesus Christ. My bad.
Wow.
But he specializes in any floors, really, any flooring. He'll make sure that that's nice and clean. So what's the second part to your answer, Jefe?
Satisfaction guarantee.
Oh God.
The second was there's a site you can go on, and you can see these cleaning ladies cleaning topless. It's called Pornhub.
Oh,
Wait,
yeah.
what? Hold on.
I'm semi-familiar with that website.
They go the extra
Effort.
mile.
Oh God.
Oh, okay. So it's wait. So we're just talking like regular maids are not actually cleaning, right? I mean, they're because
regular maids don't clean. Hey, did you guys ever on this
I have
subject?
porn on my screen now. I can't concentrate. Somebody else.
But I have I mean, this is to this point. Did you guys ever watch American Horror Story?
American Horror Story or horror?
Horror, but both. But American Horror Story on I believe it's an AMC show. I mean it's run for many seasons. Actually, they've done lots of different sort of intimations of this thing. But in the very first season, this man and woman move into this house, and I'm believe me, I'm giving you the cliff notes. But they move into this house, and there's hints to a very tragic past that this couple's had, and they're trying to rebuild their relationship, and they buy this new house, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's a gorgeous. I mean, very Victorian, just well done, fully restored house. But this maid comes with the house. And I never really had a thing for, I mean, that's just not my thing. I didn't have a thing for maids, French maids, the whole thing. But in this house, there's this maid that comes with the house, and you're introduced to her as this unbelievably, and I'm telling you, they get as close to porn on AMC as they can with this girl, this beautiful redhead with the most perfect body. She's bending over, dusting things. I mean, the whole fantasy, but it's clean enough you can put it on AMC.
Right.
And so I'm like, okay, maybe I'm into the whole maids thing. And then you find out she's like 400 years old. She's actually this old, super old chick that's like a ghost, and only the dude can see her young form, but everybody else sees her as like this 90-year-old woman. Oh. And it ruined the whole fucking thing for me. And so now I can't do maids. I can't do the maid thing anymore. I'm out. I'm out.
That's too bad.
I just thought you should know that.
Because I think you'd really like Sincerely Sammy, because she's super cute. Let's listen to her.
For it, you want to know how much I make in a day as a topless maid. Today I cleaned 5 houses and I charged $300 an hour. And I also have a security guy that sits in the car outside and waits for me just in case anything happens. And he gets 35% of what I make. So, first house, $300 for the hour, and they gave me a $150 tip. I just want to say it's not required to tip, but majority of the houses that I clean, they do tip. Second house, $300 for the hour, and they gave me a $120 tip. Third house, $300 for the hour, and they gave me a nice $150. Fourth house, $300 for the hour, and they tipped me $110. And the final house, $300 for the hour, and they gave me a very generous tip of $200. Very nice. It was a big house too, kind of dirty. My take-home pay was $2,230. And of course, like I said, my security guy gets 35%, which is $780. We're gonna go ahead and just round it up because he's amazing. So he will be getting $800. And so now my take-home is $1,430. And I worked 5 hours. If you think you needed a sign, this is your sign. Topless maid cleaning service for the win. Don't forget to like this video and follow me for more.
I'd like to follow
dude
over anything.
Oh, dude. All right. So here's the deal. Jefe?
Yes.
You're the cleaner. You're the topless cleaner. I'm your security guy.
I don't know if we're going to pull him that much.
I don't fucking care.
Hold it.
35%.
I've got it. You guys are going to be in a 55 and older community.
and
I
don't think
you only go and do houses around when their social security checks come in.
Okay. All right. I'm not sure Jefe's going to need security for a 55 and older.
Oh, you never know. Some of these chicks with walkers,
dude. I mean, I'm actually just listening to her say that. I would love to be her security guy, and I'm not saying just for the money. I'm saying just to feel like she might need me at some point, and that I could just once jump in there and be the dude, the hero that just kicks the shit out of somebody because he was fondling a girl that shouldn't be fondled. I mean, that kind of stuff gets my rocks off. I'm all in. I would love to be her security guy. So, hey, if you're hiring, hit me up.
A couple things. One, I don't think I need you because if some girl started fondling me.
Well, right.
Yeah. And also, if we're going to do this, we should have like matching uniforms. Like I was thinking like a lime green medium shirt and then go bottomless instead of topless. Maybe some flip-flops.
Both of you?
Well, yeah.
Could you imagine me? You give me the signal. Code red, I need help. And I come slapping in. You know, I'm running and my wiener's just slapping my legs as I'm coming in to provide some sort of security. That is fucking phenomenal.
See?
All right. I love this idea. See, you know, part of the reason I think our listeners tune into Whiskey Hell is to hear our brilliant business ideas. Because we come up with one every couple weeks, at least. Yeah.
This absolutely has to happen. So she's making bank. Good for her.
Yeah. No, totally good for her. And I'll tell you what, if I had the money and like, okay, scenario, we were just gonna, like, you guys were gonna come up to Oregon for the weekend. I flew you guys up because, you know, we all need to hang out for a weekend. I kicked my wife out. I sent her back down to Phoenix so she can hang out with her parents. And I hired this gal to come clean my house while we sit and play video games and or drink beer and or record a show. I would pay her. I would be happy to pay her quadruple her rate plus a tip.
Yeah, I think it's great that they're those are pretty solid tips.
Oh yeah, I did not think you were going to say tips.
Well, I haven't seen anything else yet. I'm not going to.
Oh, there's a picture of her. Yeah, I mean they're solid. She's solid.
Yeah,
she is legit gorgeous.
So we had a story last week about the dad getting upset at the stripper, I think, or her daughter was a stripper. So we talked about that. What if she was doing this?
You know, we had a comment from I'm gonna forget his Twitter handle. He listens to us though, and I'm sorry, dude, I'm forgetting. But he actually, after he listened to the show, he was like, seriously, I'm the only one that would talk to my daughter about, you know, not only like her future, but her sexual desires and her sort of morals and what she wants to portray to the world. He was the only one that really said he would sit down and talk to his daughter. And I guess we didn't emphasize it enough on the show. I think all three of us, I'm not a father, but the two of you are, both of you would definitely sit down and talk to her about it, but also honor her wishes. So I don't want you to think you're alone, bro. We get it. We would talk to her about it. But at the same time, if that's how she's going to make her money, we're all about it. So I just I don't want you to think we dismissed you. Not at all. You definitely had a very valid point, and I don't think we made that enough on the show. I mean, good point. Talk to her about it. But if that's how she's making her money and that's how she chooses to live her life, I'm all about it. Now, to your point, McShane, if my daughter was doing this, I absolutely, you know what? She's being safe. She's got a security guy. I would, I mean, look, I flash my tits every day. I mean, and nobody cares because my tits happen to have hair and they're not that big. But if I had the blessing to be born with, you know, say a pair of solid C's and zero hair on them, and people wanted to look at them, absolutely, I would be all about that.
I could wax you.
I tried that once. My God, you guys know that scene from 40-Year-Old Virgin, right? I mean, yeah, it was worse than that for me. The Modern Black Man, that's who it was that had made that comment. As we were kind of having our conversation on Twitter, which thank you so much, dude, for chiming in and just, you know, speaking your piece. 100%. You can find him on themodernblackman.com. his Twitter handle is what? The chubby Idris Elba. That's awesome. I fucking love Idris Elba, and I can totally picture what you look like now, dude. So anyway, shout out to you. Thanks for keeping it real and for kind of calling us out on not backing you up, because I think all three of us totally back you up on that. And good for you. Good for you. However, I would absolutely, if I were a woman and or if I had a daughter who wanted to do this, I'd be in full support of it because she's being safe. She's got the security. And yeah, I mean, you do you, man. However you can make your money, fucking do it. There's a lot of people out there, you know, for whom school sucked. And so if school sucked and you don't have that option, you got to find another way. You know, dudes go out and be mechanics. They go out and lay, you know, high wire electrical lines that can kill them in a second. Why is that different than going out and dusting somebody's house with your tits out? Yeah, it might be a little dangerous, and yeah, people are looking at your body, but you're making your way.
And it's nowhere near as dangerous as being sent to the front in Ukraine by Russia when you're a female prisoner.
Shit. Nice segue, dude, because this is legit. This is crazy and scary. Yeah, so good segue.
Are we to say that Russia has gotten to the point? Now, this is one of the things I started to read this and I started to balk at it because, oh my God, really? Or is this just propaganda to trying to paint Russia to being even more horrible than they are?
Well, who wrote this article?
Well, this is going to be from the Daily Mail .co.uk. So it's the Daily Mail from Britain, and it's
from Britain. Yeah,
this is a conservative magazine, so that should be noted too.
Yep.
That's just fucking terrible. I don't even know what to do with this.
I mean, you know, to your point, yes, the original headline is shocking, but when you look at who wrote it, so two reactions. One, holy shit, we've gotten to this point at the war where they're actually conscripting women, which in the history of the United States we've never gotten to, other than, you know, the Rosie the Riveter kind of a thing. But the other side of it is, if they really are at this point, then why do we think this war is going to be lasting any more than a month to 2 months? And I'm not knocking women. I'm just saying you're at the point where you're conscripting your women. I mean, Russia's in a really bad way if that's the truth.
Which is completely different from what we were actually expecting earlier. Because we were talking a great deal about how, well, now we're going to see the real troops go in. You know, now they're going to unleash the real arsenal that they've got. And if you're resorting to this, like you're saying, these are dark days. if this is where we're going to go. First of all, bringing in prisoners is yikes.
Well, which is well documented. That's what they did for the first year of the war. That's what they did. They said, here's the deal. You can either go and fight and if you survive, we're going to send you some shit areas. But if you survive, your sentence is commuted, or you die and live you have a hero's death. And a lot of guys took it. A lot of prisoners took it. So that's already been well documented. But the fact that we have women now, and I tend to think it's the latter. I think Russia's not desperate. They're trying to prolong this thing as long as they can so they can get their real troops, because we already that's also been documented. There's over 500,000 troops on the border lined up, ready to go.
They're just sending fodder then. That's essentially what they're doing.
Exactly right. Fodder. Yep.
Yikes.
And listen, if you're Russia and let's say you send 100,000 women in, I'm totally guesstimating. I don't know. But let's say you send 100,000 women in and 20,000 of them come back and they're like, shit, the fighting's really bad, but we made it out. You now have 20,000 extra legit fucking badass warriors who have seen some shit, survived it, and now you can fold them into the masses of your actual shock troops, your actual badass dudes, because you know they can handle it. They've seen some shit already.
This is like a setup for a Marvel movie. This is like
Black Widow.
This is where Black
part
Widow
two.
would have come. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. No, that's a great call. I don't know what to make of it. I half of me goes, it's a bullshit story. There's no way they're doing that. And half of me goes, okay, they're doing it, but why? You know?
Well, they're also doing stupid shit like flying their flanker jets into our drones. So,
yeah. Interesting story. That just happened today.
Was it today or was it yesterday? I don't even.
I thought that was today. I don't know. At this point, you're right. It could have been yesterday.
Anyway, it doesn't even really matter, but it's just they. Oh, which one was it? We were over the Black Sea, and it was one of our drones. I think it was it the Reaper?
Yeah, Reaper, right.
It's one of the Reaper drones over.
That's like one of the. That's a big drone. I mean, it's a sizable drone. It's not like one of your little ones that you buy off of Amazon. It's got 4 propellers and it can go 1,000 feet. This thing is like it has a range of the world. Probably some dude in Kansas City or Nevada was piloting this thing all the way in the Baltic Sea.
So essentially, what ended up happening was a couple of Russian Su-27 fighter planes. Caught this Reaper drone that was flying near the border. It was still in international water, so it wasn't actually across inside of Russian territory. But this was one of those scenarios that we see all the time. And had it been anything but a drone up there, a piloted plane, you never would have escalated to this. I'm pretty sure of that. But because it's a drone, they decided they can go and fuck with it. So the 2 Su-27s decided to go ahead and we're calling them amateurs. They did 19 flybys of this vehicle and even ended up dumping fuel on top of it just to jack with it. And then
let's piss on it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And then one maneuver that it did, it went vertical in front of it and clipped the propeller and damaging the plane and actually damaging the drone, which the drone ended up being put down. I don't think this is that big of a deal other than the Russians looking stupid for fucking around with a drone. Because, again, if you put somebody up there in a jet, they're not going to do that. You know, if somebody's up there in an F-35, they're not going to get near it. You guys might do a little flyby. There'll be a little bit of chin music, but it's never going to escalate to this.
No, I mean, this is to me, and coming from my martial arts background, this incident right here is me out in the garage with my heavy bag, right? I can hit it any way I want. I can fuck with it. I can punch it. I can kick it. And it's never, I mean, other than if I'm an idiot and I get too close to it, it's never going to hit me back, right? That's very different than actually sparring with a real human being that, you know, is thinking, has a heartbeat, and is trying to hurt me. I totally agree with you on that. Although I will put myself in the Russian pilot's seat, which is, when was the last time we had an actual engagement with an actual pilot? So let's just see what my skills are like. Let me see how close I can get to this fucking thing. I mean, we've all done that with fucking skateboards and Everclear. How close can I get to this and jump over it?
Well, it's like the knife game, right? You put your hand down on the board, and you just start hitting the board with the knife, and hopefully you don't stab your hand.
Exactly. I mean, guys are stupid. We fully admit that, and we embrace it, and we like it. And these were definitely male pilots in the Russian planes. Now, what I don't like, and to your point, McShane, is that there was nobody harmed in this. No American pilot was downed. And yet you have Republican and Democrat coming together in the U.S. Congress to say this was an act of war.
That's so stupid.
So your little RC car. Yeah, right.
Send them a bill.
Right. This was not an act of war. It was your fucking RC car that someone stepped on or ran over with their car, and that's it.
You blew up their pipeline. What the fuck?
Seriously. And you've expanded NATO way past what you were supposed to expand NATO with the Minsk agreements. Go look that up. Minsk agreement said you would not expand east 1 inch. That's literally how it's written, 1 inch. And we've expanded miles, hundreds of thousands of miles. So no, irrelevant that you shot down one of our drones, irrelevant. But I mean, this could be a way that we can justify going to war. I don't know. It's insanity. All of it's insanity. None of us want to go to war, and yet the drums keep beating.
Hey, did you either of you guys look around your backyards to see if if there's 2.5 tons of enriched uranium back there?
Jefe, I'm gonna open this up to you because of the three of us, I would say you're probably the most likely to have 2.5 tons of uranium.
I had that, but I sold it.
Oh,
sweet.
Good man. All right.
I mean,
so you offloaded it before this ever becomes an issue.
So you're on the lam.
I'm out of the uranium game.
Good man. You know, this is the thing about that I love about Jefe is like he diversifies. Like he'll put some money into sports betting, knowing that he might lose, and he did. But he also is going to put his money into 2.5 tons of enriched uranium, knowing that he might win. And he did. So good for you, man. That's what I love about you.
Yeah, I flipped that shit quick.
What the fuck? 2.5 tons. 2.5 tons. They lost in Syria.
No, Libya. Libya.
I'm sorry, Libya. Sorry, yeah, Libya. It was one of the EAs.
How does this shit happen? Seriously. But what's gonna come? Right? What was the first thing you said?
Well, now we know where the dirty bomb that may or may not go off in New York City. And let's not forget, let's put this in context. 3-4 months ago, New York City, a couple of cities in California were giving out shit hit the fan packs and what to do in a nuclear emergency PSAs. That was just not a few months ago. And now we have 2.5 tons, not pounds, 2.5 tons of enriched uranium that is somewhere out in the ether. We have no idea where it is. Jesus Christ.
The news keeps getting more absurd, more absurd.
I mean, you think about, let's put this into the context of the Cold War. Let's say this was 1987. No, 85.
Wait,
and
this is the sequel to Back to the Future?
Whatever. It's a sequel to something. And it's 1985 and we were kids in elementary school still being taught to get under the desk if there's a nuclear bomb, warning. And all of a sudden it's reported that 2.5 tons of enriched uranium has gone missing from a fairly volatile fluid situation in Libya. This would be like DEFCON 3, right? I mean, that we would be marching down the ladder, maybe even DEFCON 1 or 2, to the point where it's like everybody should be on high alert because anything could happen at this point. But in today's news stream, we're like, I wonder if they'll find that at some point. I mean, there's no like actual, danger to us personally, it seems like, until something happens. Okay. All right. Let's break.
All right. So Ryan Reynolds is a billionaire, and I don't think it could have happened to a nicer guy.
Seriously. I mean, we were kind of talking about this before the show, but how is it possible that one dude is so good looking? And I don't just mean his face, because like you guys remember Pierce Brosnan, right? I mean, good looking guy, undeniably good looking guy. But honestly, if I'm being really honest, I have a better body than Pierce Brosnan. I mean, he's taller than me, but I could definitely do way more push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups. I could run a mile faster than him. He just was never like that physical specimen. But Ryan Reynolds, he's good looking guy. He's got a fucking amazing physique. He's just built really well. He's funny as fuck. Like, he could have had a career in comedy. And on top of it, I fucking like the guy. He's just so nice and giving. And I mean, I don't know. So he is highly invested in and was actually the spokesperson for Mint Mobile. And just today it was announced that Mint Mobile was bought by T-Mobile.
Yep.
Making Ryan Reynolds, he's not a billionaire. They bought the company for over $1 billion, but he's not a billionaire. He got 25% of that. So, but it pretty much doubled his net worth, which is no small thing because he was worth a lot if you think about all the movies he's been a part of. And good for him. It couldn't happen to a better guy. I'm all about it. You know, he's out there running a soccer team. He's doing great movies. I couldn't be happier for him.
Okay, so this is important to note. I didn't know this until just finding this Forbes article. So check this out in show notes. $337.5 million is what he got out of the Mint Mobile deal.
Jesus.
He also sold Aviation Gin.
Oh. Which is huge.
$335 million.
Jeez.
So he is a billionaire.
He's pretty fucking close. And he's raking. He's raking from Deadpool because he's getting whatever it is for making it and then every little residual that comes from that.
Well, dude, and his R.I.P.D. movie that was made back in, I believe, 2014 just got re-released on Netflix. And it's #1 in movies on Netflix in the country right now. So he's getting paid again for that. And actually, I'm sorry. My wife and I are part of that equation. We watched it. I was like, what the fuck is this? We watched it. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's fun to watch. I mean, so even his shit movies that didn't do anything back in 2014, they're worth something now because it's him. And he was really good in it. And it's a great story. It's a good story.
Is that Jeff Bridges with him in that?
Yes. Jeff Bridges is in it. Yep. I mean, the Big Lebowski is like fucking a badass, an old Western badass in it. And I mean, the play between the two of them, you can tell they love each other, and it's awesome the whole way through it. It's a great movie. So he's even making more money off of that.
Shout out to Blake Lively.
I was just going to say, and his wife is also Blake Lively, who is worth not a little bit.
God.
And I don't know if you guys saw the David Letterman, My Next Guest Needs No Introduction, the one with Ryan Reynolds. He was in his, I want to say, Spanish bungalow, his little place that they had in Spain. I mean, it had to be somewhere in the Mediterranean because it didn't matter what time of the year it was. All the windows and doors were open. Like, it was just this free air, fucking beautiful place. And Ryan Reynolds, I mean, so take all of that we just said. He's this fucking amazing, funny actor, somebody we all love to root for. He has a beautiful wife, beautiful children. He cooked David Letterman a fucking amazing meal. So he's also a cook. And I sit here with my medium-sized penis and my mediocre cooking skills, and I go, why the fuck can I get just a little bit of the Ryan Reynolds, mojo? Can I get just a little bit of that? Like, God damn, dude, he got it all, and I'm happy for him. And go, bro. But damn, next life. That's why I said in the beginning of the show, next life I'm coming back as Ryan Reynolds. And you guys have nothing to say to that?
I was trying not to cut off Jefe. I think I cut him off a couple times. Go ahead.
Well, we'll see about your medium-sized penis when we go on our first job together. But, no, but I'd second everything you said. He's just funny and clever and handsome, and I think he'd fit right in with us. What do you think?
Oh my God, yes, yeah. He'd be a great interview, wouldn't he? Like if we had him on Whiskey Hell, he would probably just fucking steal the show. Because I would try and do like one of my Fitz reviews of a beer, and he'd be like, no, better yet, here's what that beer really is like. And he'd fucking, and I'd be okay with it. I'd be okay with getting one-upped by Ryan Reynolds.
And he'd swear the whole time, and it'd be glorious.
Oh, yeah. And he's Canadian. Like, that's just remarkable to me. I didn't think the Canadians had anything to offer. And then here's Ryan Reynolds. That's not true. They put out, I mean, Norm Macdonald. Who else? Who else is
Steve Nash?
Martin Short, isn't he?
Martin Short. There's I mean, a lot of comedians, a lot of actors.
Justin Trudeau, famous comedian.
Fuck Trudeau, man. But really, John Candy. There was another shit. Wasn't James T. Kirk? What the hell's his name?
Mark. Oh, I just.
Why can't I think of his name? When's he gonna die?
Jesus.
Why can't I think of his name? Captain Kirk.
Holy shit.
Oh, Jim Carrey. Yeah, that's another one I forgot. Keanu Reeves, right? Rachel McAdams. William Shatner, thank you. Good God. Isn't he Canadian? Michael J. Fox, Michael Bublé. I mean, so, okay. I concede. There's probably way more Canadians who I love than Americans. Probably way more.
I would have to agree with that. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Kiefer Sutherland. Michael Cera.
Matthew Perry.
Mike Myers. How could we forget that, Jefe? So I Married an Axe Murderer, one of our favorite movies.
He's Canadian? I thought he was Scottish.
Nope. Mike Myers. I mean, of course, all the what was the spy movies he did? The fuck?
Yeah. Shit.
Why am I having so much? Yeah, Austin Powers. Thank you. God, words just have lost. Just
it's late. It's a Wednesday.
Yeah. Okay. Let's blame it on that.
Yeah, he was Scottish in So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Yeah, he was, but he's a Canadian.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, good on you, Canada. And really, honestly, what this is all about is Ryan Reynolds just being an awesome dude. Keep doing what you're doing. I think probably this show we need to tag Ryan Reynolds in it and just see. He's also somebody who responds to people on Twitter, like just normal everyday people. He'll thank them for the shout out and whatever. So I think we should give him a shout out and just see what happens, because I mean, truly, I don't want to be like a fanboy or anything, but dude, Ryan, if this whole woke thing goes far enough and you want to have kids with a dude, I'm your guy. Yeah, I'm your guy.
Throwing your hat in the ring.
Yep. Throwing my hat in the ring. I have pretty good genetics. I'm just going to say.
And if you'd like to clean some houses topless, we're going to hook you up with El Jefe's cleaning service.
Cleaning service, yes. I'm security. Ryan Reynolds is he's the talent. Jefe is the second talent. And I just make sure everything stays cool.
Topless or bottomless. We haven't decided yet.
Right.
But you're open to anything. It's fine.
Absolutely.
Wow.
All right, let's do this, and we want to know all about how the sun almost killed us.
Okay.
If you're wondering how massive asteroids are being sized, they are actually being sized from here on as American alligators.
Okay, why is this a thing? McShane, will you please? Why is this a thing?
As a scientist, I cannot tell you other than that American alligators is a viable alternative to the metric system. Therefore, we are going to use it.
Anything but the metric system.
Fuck the metric system.
Why can't we just use feet? I mean, Like, I think if you were going to try and relate to the average American, why not say this was like 40 Ford Explorers? Like we know how big that vehicle is, but they go with American alligators, and there's only like maybe a fifth of the American population who actually knows how big an American alligator is. But everyone knows a Ford Explorer.
First of all, we have to acknowledge where this came from. This came from the Jerusalem Post. Okay? So Israel is trying to relate to the United States, and they just happened to pick something that was very relatable for Floridians.
Was this originally from the Jerusalem Post? Because I have seen I've seen no less than 6 articles quoting this article then. Of 69 American alligators.
Yeah. This is my understanding is it came from the Jerusalem. I can't spell. Can't say
no.
Jerusalem.
That's a hard word to say when you're drunk. No, it's hard.
Jerusalem Post.
Yeah.
There's a massive asteroid, 2023 cm, is estimated to be as much as 320 meters in diameter, and is set to pass Earth. It won't hit, but if it did, it could devastate a continent. A massive asteroid the size of almost 69 American alligators is set to pass by the Earth on Tuesday, according to NASA Asteroid Tracker. I don't know. We just report the news.
Because wasn't there one that compared it to flamingos, and there was another one that compared it to some other animal? I just don't get it why we can't just call it feet or meters or kilometers and be done with it. And guys, just so you know, just so our listeners know, we're not making this up. This was a legit article.
Yeah.
Written to inform people and to give them some sort of sense of how massive this thing was. And instead of 320 meters being enough, they had to say 69 American alligators. I can't get over it. So here's what I'm proposing, and I hope you guys are on board. This is a Whiskey Hell exclusive.
I am actually about half American alligator.
Okay, well, I was going to say I'm 1/3 of an American alligator. Now, I was going to say, if you just take that and say this thing was, 69 times 3 Fitz's big, I think that's much more realistic than an American alligator.
Well, I think we can make an argument for having this as a measurement. Why not? I say go for it.
I'm all with the McShanes too. I mean, 69 times 2.5 McShanes. I don't know what to do with that, dude. It's so crazy.
Maybe it was just using the number 69 that they really wanted to get to. They wanted to slip in a 69 into an article.
And I kind of respect that. Honestly, I kind of respect that. And, at the end of the day, either I think they should put them into 3 categories. So small to burn up in the atmosphere, big enough that it's scary, life-ending event, Ellie, extinction level event. Those are the 3 categories that all asteroids should fall in. And if you can't put it into one of those 3 categories, then fuck off with your flamingos and your alligators and your Fitzes and your McShanes. Just say it's okay. It's gonna miss us, and even if it hit, it wouldn't be that big a deal. That's all I want. I mean, honestly, how ridiculous.
I like it. I say we just keep propagating as much as we possibly can.
So, the sun.
The sun, yes.
I will be brief here, and I put the link on the show notes mostly for all of you out there in podcast land. For those of you listening, if you want to go and listen to Ben Davidson's report a few days ago on Monday, we had the sun's been on an uptick. I've talked about that, but on Monday evening, the sun let off a massive flare. It was a short duration, meaning it was kind of more of a pop than a hum. But it let off a huge CME, coronal mass ejection. X class, we don't know. And the reason we don't know is because it fired off exactly opposite of Earth. What we do know is that it showed up on all the spiral graphs and the coronagraphs as powerful enough that it would have absolutely been at least a Carrington event, possibly twice that. Now, the Carrington event was the event that happened back in, I believe, 1859. You can check my dates on that. But it fried most of the telegraph lines on the planet when it went off. We were just using telegraphs at that time. There weren't a lot of them, but they all caught on fire all around the planet all at once because of this massive solar flare. And they found evidence for it in the rocks and things like that, so they knew what happened later. This one was at least that big, possibly twice that big. Now, if that's the case and it had been fired towards Earth, we would not be podcasting right now. None of you would have lights on right now. We would all be cooking by fire and reading by candlelight again. We'd be back in the 1700s. I mean, that's
dead.
Or dead. or absolutely dead, because you think about all the wires that are in your house right now. They all would have caught fire. So that's a bad day for everybody. Even those of us on the dark side of the planet, it just would have spread like wildfire, literally. So to say, as Ben says in the video, I mean, some prayers or whatever, whoever you believe in, some thanks is probably necessary, because if that had been aimed just 180 degrees this way, we're fucked. And we're right back into the dark ages quickly. So this is real, folks. The sun is out there doing its thing, and we're just really getting lucky that it's not, like a gun. It was aimed a few degrees off of our point of position, so we don't feel the effects of it. But it's out there, it's happening. And what's crazy is it was such a huge shot the opposite way that we here on planet Earth actually felt the kickback. So like when you fire a shotgun and your shoulder hurts the next day, that's what we're feeling. It was an actual shock wave that went the opposite way and sent the KP index up to a 4, almost a 5, which is significant. I mean, that's like a solar storm. But it was fired the other way. So, we're on borrowed time here. It's just a matter of when, not if. So, anyway, kiss your kids, have an extra beer tonight, and that's what's going on with the sun.
And watch out for that alien mothership that's floating around up there.
Yeah, exactly. Good stuff. I mean,
Seriously.
What an amazing show that from Saturday night, and this is Wednesday night. So, basically 3 full days, and we have this full of a show. That just shows you how fast news is moving. I can't wait for next week's show, because we're going to have a full week between tonight and next Wednesday's show. Could be a real doozy, or things calm down and nothing's really happened. And we all get to just enjoy the beers that we've had. So either way.
Speaking of, which beer are you taking to bed?
Actually, I'm gonna kind of surprise you here, McShane. This is kind of a tough call for me. The original, the Bearlick was right in my wheelhouse, as you know, barrel aged, thick stout, lots of good flavors going on there. Lots of time and blood, sweat, and tears went into this beer, and it was really enjoyable. However, my second beer, Family Time, there is something about this beer that is just hitting. It is clean, it's smooth, it's well balanced. There's nothing that you feel like you have to recover from tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like everything you put in your body is pure, and you're gonna be okay tomorrow. And so I'm actually taking Family Time to bed, and I don't want that to sound weird, because it's not. This is a beer I'm talking about, and it's absolutely delicious. And so I'm taking Family Time, which is a surprise even to me. So how about you? Which one are you going to go to bed with?
I'm actually making my decision based on ABV tonight.
Okay.
So I love both of the beers. Absolutely love them. I loved Miggy from Jesus. I can't think of the name of the brewer now. So see, ABV, right? Tripping Animals.
Yeah, right.
Love Miggy. That is a total summer beer. I want that for the pool. I would have that in my house just to have. The other beer, though, Introspection, it is just a classic triple IPA. High ABV, really tasty. Like, I could have several of these in one night. I would be destroyed, but I would love doing it. The ABV does set the two apart. It's double what the first one is, which is normal for a triple. But
Yeah.
the taste is so on point. I'm a big fan for Tripping Animals now. Not actually Tripping Animals, but the brewery. I'm a big fan of.
Dude, I have an opportunity, and I feel like it needs to be part of the show. And I'm not saying I need to do it while I'm on the show, but I'm saying it needs to be, my experience needs to be talked about on the show. But I have an opportunity to get some legit mushrooms. Yeah, like DMT, fucking open your mind kind of shit. And I'm really, at this point in my life, I'm really excited to do them. So that could be coming up in the next couple of shows here. I've got a delivery on its way. And so just be aware that my mind that has spit out all of the ridiculous Fitz reviews might get a little bit more expanded in the near future. So that's coming up.
So if
Jefe,
we do this, Jefe has to be on here for a full night. We need to plan it.
If I do it on the show?
Yes, because I need to have him here with me to experience you.
Okay.
Just on fucking fire.
Tripping balls. Yeah. So,
Tripping
and here's
balls,
the other
yes.
thing is I think that week we should plan a couple of shows in case
Yes.
that one goes off the railroads.
Well,
so
it's gonna
Jefe,
be called, first of all, it's going to be called Tripping Balls with Fitz. And sorry,
Dude,
go ahead.
No, it's going to be great or it's going to be awful. Either way. So Jefe, you had something to share before we sign off. I know you weren't drinking tonight, but you had a something to share.
Oh, I just wanted to ask. I got a quick story. How many push-ups can you do consecutively?
You're talking to me?
Oh, and McShane, if he wants to share.
Like, maybe 5. Well, I'm going to be honest. Yeah. Let's not push things here. Yeah.
Literally.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I conservatively, okay, the last time I did just like balls out, you can do as many as you can in 90 seconds. I did 57. But I don't know today. I mean, that was probably a couple months ago. So
well,
I don't know.
A guy set the record for most push-ups in an hour. Did you guys see that?
No. Oh, in an hour? Holy shit. Yeah. I don't know.
He set the record. The new record is now 3,264.
What?
And he's
3,000
old.
He's how old?
60.
Okay. Actually, I believe that because I will tell you, push-ups have been getting easier for me as I get older because it's more of those big muscle groups that you get more of as you get to be like old man strength and not so much of the quick twitch.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many did he do? I want to do the math here. 3,000.
264.
264 divided by 60. All right. So he did. What? I did times. God damn it. 3,264 divided by 60. All right. So he did 54 per minute. So that's a little bit, that's over the pace I was doing. Cause like I said, I did like 57 in a minute and a half. And the thing is, I'll tell you right now, I could not keep up that pace. I mean, I was spent after that.
I saw it on the news at work. So I saw it with no sound and they showed him and his push-ups were they didn't. They looked like mini push-ups. Like I don't know what the requirement is, how far down and far up.
Yeah, that's definitely a factor.
I mean, he was clearly ripped, but
I go all the way chest to the ground.
Yeah.
Or if I'm doing it on medicine balls, I go chest, to where my chest would be at the medicine ball level. So, I mean, that's definitely a thing. I mean, you could do 3 inches down, 3 inches up, and you could probably get in a lot at that point. But the thing is the endurance at 60 years old. That to me is what's important. That's huge. And I learned from a mentor of mine who is now deceased and no longer with us, but was a great man. He read in several studies that one of the greatest indicators for the health of men over 60 is how many push-ups you can do. So he told me that when he was like 75, so he started doing push-ups every day. And really, he went from like literally being able to do 1 to, getting up to 20 a day, getting up to 30 a day. He just pushed himself. So that's like one of the greatest indicators as a male to your health is how many push-ups you can do. And so, there's that.
He was from Florida too, so who knows what he's got going through his system.
Yeah, well, how many alligators is he?
I'm gonna say 69 because it has to be. Oh geez.
All right. If you guys want to follow us, it is whiskeyhellpod@gmail.com is actually gonna be the website or the email address, excuse me. Website is whiskeyhellpod.com. At @whiskey_hell is the Twitter. You guys can find us on Instagram at whiskeyhellpod. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoy this Wednesday show. Boys, thank you for being able to make this happen. I'm hoping I have some good content from the cruise, but I appreciate you guys seriously adjusting things to make this happen.
No, man. I mean, our pleasure. And I just want to quickly, not getting too sappy here, but congratulations to McShane. He's going on a cruise for his 20th wedding anniversary, and that's a big deal. And I'm really proud of you guys. I was there the day you guys got married. Well, actually, I was there the day you guys had your first date. And again, I apologize to your wife for the things I said that night. But I was there for your wedding. It was a beautiful night. We've been nothing but the best of friends since. And I love both you and your wife. And my God, you're amazing children. And this is one of those marriages that, only produced good. And so I hope you guys really go out and celebrate your 20 years. Because it's been worth it. It's been a struggle, but it's been worth it. And so go out, have fun, and we'll be back next week to do it again.
Yeah, I second all that, Steve. And I mean, 20 years is no joke. Believe me, I know.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I don't know, but I know the journey.
But you kind of know.
I know the bumps in the road you can hit, and also congrats on your pool, man. How about that? Oh,
yes, that's done. Finally. Happy anniversary for that.
The shit show's over. So, yes.
You planned that anniversary gift perfectly.
Right? I love her so much. Here's a pool, honey.
9 months in the making, or how long was it?
Oh, it was almost 13.
Oh, God.
It was fucking stupid.
Wow, good for you, brother.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, boys, and thank you, listeners, for keeping us in your thoughts, and keep listening. We will keep providing you guys awesome content. I'm Steve McShane.
I'm Fitz.
I'm Jefe.
We'll talk to you soon.
That will do it for this week's show. Shocking how long they last each week. Remember to leave a review, and thanks for listening.